Welcome to Mirror Rage. Hope you're excited to get some wonderful Mirror March triggers and hopefully those coin flips go our way. But let's jump into the deck tech, and that's going to start with Mirror March itself. So we have Mirror March. Love this enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, flip a coin until you lose a flip. For each flip that you win, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Those tokens gain haste. Then exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. Now, the core of this deck is a red-green ramp deck. We want to be getting down Lana War Elves. We want to get down Gift of Paradise, which I'll definitely cover here in a second. But long story short, this is a red-green ramp deck, and we're going to be using Mirror March as not necessarily a win condition. It can be a win condition for us, but we're mainly using it as a way to just have some crazy games and just have some explosive turns where we just win the game where we normally wouldn't. So let's say that we're getting down a Carnage Tyrant on turn 5 or turn 6, and we have Mirror March down. Somehow we get lucky and end up with 4 Carnage Tyrants on the battlefield. That might be enough to close the game out. You never know. So basically, this is kind of one of those decks to where we're just kind of flipping coin to see, hey, can we win this turn? Or if not, then we get down some good creatures and then kind of keep our progress going from there. But long story short, this is can I win the game this turn? All right, fine, I didn't. Then we just get down some sort of threat. Now, one of the other really good enchantments in this deck that really helps us out is going to be Rhythm of the Wild. This is going to help us out in some of our mono blue matchups or any sort of counter magic matchups that we're worried about. Our creature spells can't be countered, so it's going to allow us to cast it into Mirror March. And then also, non-token creatures you control have Riot. So let's say that we can't find Mirror March, somebody's destroyed it. Once we get down Rhythm of the Wild, that's going to allow us to just kind of basically keep getting down threat after threat. It has that haste ability, or if we need to sit back on defense, we can give it that +1 counter. Love Rhythm of the Wild. Both of these are going to be the peas and carrots for the deck. I don't know. They just make for some really fun magic. Now, let's move on to the creatures that have some wonderful enter the battlefield effects that work super well with Mirror March, and that's going to be Demanding Dragon and Burning Sun's Avatar. When you get down Burning Sun's Avatar and you get like 3 or 4 coin flips in a row, and you just get all these like fireball lightning bolts on the battlefield, it feels so good because with Burning Sun's Avatar, it's going to be 3 damage to target opponent, then 3 damage up to 1 target creature. So you're set right there. You can go for some sort of pseudo board wipe. There's a couple of times where we get down Burning Sun's Avatar, we get 4 copies on the battlefield. That's 3 bolts on the battlefield, 3 bolts up top. Then you have those copies that are swinging in. Oh, that's some good magic right there. Your opponent's going to be like, wow, this is awesome. Do it again. We also have Demanding Dragon. They probably won't. Whenever Demanding Dragon enters the battlefield, deals 5 damage to target opponent unless they sacrifice a creature. This is one of those spells that works out really well with Rhythm of the Wild. You know, having a 5/5 haste flyer is really good. And then the fact that it has that 5 damage trigger. There's a lot of times to where if we just get lucky with the Demanding Dragon and they don't really have that much of a board state develop, let's say we're playing against a control matchup and we've got Rhythm of the Wild, we go for Demanding Dragon, we get lucky with a couple flips, you might just win the game if they have no creatures on the battlefield to sacrifice. So that's kind of what this deck does. You know, it puts them in a position to where, do we win? And then question mark, and you just look at them like, hey, is this good? And then they're like, yes, it's good once you get down a bunch of copies. Now, outside of the damage entering the battlefield, we also have some really good value creatures, stuff like Carnage Tyrant and Charging Tuscadon. Carnage Tyrant is definitely going to be one of our just kind of finish out the curve ramp creatures. We get it down, trample, hexproof, can't be countered, Rhythm of the Wild on top of it right there. Basically, Rhythm of the Wild on the body itself of Carnage Tyrant. So this is going to be a really good late game threat for us, even if we can't get down Mirror March. Then, let's say that we get a few copies of it. The fact that it does have trample, it's got a hexproof. That's really going to allow you to swing in and get some really good damage in on your opponent. And then same thing with Charging Tuscadon. This may seem like kind of a weird include, but it does have trample, and basically it kind of has like trample double strike. So once it deals enough damage to whatever creature's blocking it, that damage that goes through is going to be dealt double. So you get down Charging Tuscadon, get a few copies. You know, if they have no creatures on the battlefield, each of these ones is going to be swinging in for 8 damage. So if you just get 2 or 3 of these on the battlefield, you're good to go. So it's kind of also why we're only running 1 of these in here, because, you know, sometimes multiple copies of Charging is not the best in the world, but when you get that trample double strike going, whew, that's some good magic. Now, another way that we can really take advantage of some of these end of the battlefield effects is going to be like Crispicula Worm and then Siege Gang Commander. So if the Worm is going to enter the battlefield, we're going to gain 7 life. It does have trample, which also does kind of allow us to kind of you know, if we get multiple copies, just swing in with the 7/7 trample. We don't really care how they decide to do blockers. We're beginning in for some sort of damage most of the time. Now, the only downside is we will not be able to cash in that card draw. Whenever Crispicula Worm dies, it's going to be draw a card. The Mirror March trigger is going to be exile that creature, so that does not count as a death trigger. So unfortunately, if it did, oh man, that would be pretty sweet. But doesn't happen. So anyway, running in here for the life gain and for that nice trample effect. And then also CGN Commander. You know, if you get a few of these on the battlefield, that's a bunch of goblins. You're still going to have one CGN Commander stick around, so you're going to have a ton of activations to go for. We are playing a red-green ramp deck, so you can start sacrificing some of those Gerblins and start dealing some of that damage. A+ card for the deck. It just feels really good to just end up with an instant goblin army like that. If you go, now sometimes with these mirror, I'm talking like these mirror march triggers, like they're like 100% set. They're not. There's a lot of times, sometimes where we go for Crispicula Worm and we miss the first coin flip, and then we go for a Lana Werewolves next turn, we get like 5 Lana Werewolves. So, I mean, this is a coin flip deck, but I mean, getting down multiple copies of any of these creatures always feels good. So I will say this, there's a lot of frustrating time. You have a 50-50 chance of just not even whiffing. So definitely want to keep that in mind before you get frustrated. Now, outside of the value creatures, we've got some burn spells. We have Electro Dominance and Banefire. This is a ramp deck, so, you know, let's say that we can't find Mirror March, we can't find our creatures. Simply just getting down a ton of mana, going for Banefire up top to our opponent's face is a wonderful way to close it out. Now, with Electro Dominance, this card, I love this card in this deck. It does a lot of duty. You know, it's going to allow us to keep Planeswalkers in check. We can deal that damage up top to our opponent. But we can also use Electro Dominance to drop in a creature at our opponent's instep to kind of get around that Mirror March trigger of exiling at the beginning of the next instep. So we reach to our opponent's instep. We go for Electro Dominance. We get those creatures on the battlefield. Mirror March says, hey, exile those at the beginning of the next instep. We're already in the beginning of the next instep, so it's going to be at your next instep. So long story short, you can hold up some mana, go for Electro Dominance, deal 8 damage to your opponent, drop in a fresh Carnage Tyrant, get a few copies of it, and then swing in, and then cast another creature. I don't know. They're going to have haste too. Either way, it's going to be some fun. So I cannot tell you, Electro Dominance is really good in the deck. I'm running 2 copies. Might even want to bump it up to 3, but do not skimp out on Electro Dominance. It's just such a good card for the deck. You know, like I mentioned, spot removal, Planeswalkers, dropping in like, I mean, just dropping in a Carnage Tyrant or dropping in a CGN Commander is this good while you get 5 damage. It feels really good. I really enjoy it. Now, I did mention this is a red-green ramp deck, so we've got Gift of Paradise in here, 4 copies. That 3 life is going to help us out against burn matches, and then also that 2 mana, turning your lands into Ancient Tombs always feels really good. And then Circuitous Route. We are running 2 gate cards in here just for this route card. That way we can, because most of the time we need to get something down every single turn, so we don't want to go too heavy on Gruul Guild Gates, but you do want to run 2 of them in here, because if you get a quick route going, let's say you go Lana Werewolves, Gift of Paradise, you go route, you want to be able to have that double, you know, we've got Burning Sun's Avatar, we've got a few other green requirements, so it is nice to have access to that double red-green, so you probably want to run about 2 copies of Gruul Guild Gate, probably not any more than that, unless you want some of your, it's going to really kind of cut back on some of your explosive turns. So, but if you don't have access to some of the, you know, stomping grounds from the deck, you can definitely bump up some Gruul Guild Gates. It's just, you're not going to have those really explosive turns. That's just kind of how it is. And also, Lana Werewolves, running 4 copies of Lana Werewolves. When you have an opening hand with Lana Werewolves, that is pretty much an auto keep right there, and especially if you have Mirror March, and that's going to get it done. But yeah, that's it for the deck tech. I've got some awesome gameplay video for you. Stick around and watch. Welcome to Mirror March. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I like it. We're going to keep on this. We've got Mirror March. I've been recording this video all morning, and we can't find you. All right, there we go. All right, we get down Forest, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We maybe could have mulliganed for an earlier ramp play, or maybe a few more creatures that enter the battlefield effects, but we've got a ramp piece, we got Rhythm of the Wild, and we've got Mirror March. So that's pretty much, it's one of those hands that if you're feeling aggressive, like let's say you're playing at a tournament, you might kind of mulligan just to be a little bit more aggressive. But as far as what we've got going on, we're just playing for fun. This is definitely a good opening hand. So it looks like we're playing against mono blue flyers, and hopefully we can survive this one. So let's go Mountain, and let's go Incubation Druid. So we're going to get down Incubation Druid. That's going to be our early ramp source, so we can go for Rhythm of the Wild. We do have to watch out for counter magic. They do already have a pirate on the battlefield, so that definitely does turn on Wizard's Retort. And but with them going triple Siren Storm Tamer, a whole flock of them, we could definitely jam. I was about to say, we just need to jam a Rhythm of the Wild. That's going to be a way that we can stop that counter magic from our opponent. So let's go Forest, and let's go Rhythm of the Wild. That way we can have that enter the battlefield. And that's going to give us protection from any sort of counter magic from our opponent. Oh, and excuse me, so we're playing against Izzet. I guess do we even end up going for, yeah, we're going to take 4 on this one. Pretty much, unless you're just going to lose the game from a risk factor and a combat step, you always want to take 4 damage from risk factor. That 3 card draw, I mean, you could give them 3 card draw if you want, but That's not where you want to be. Let's get the land drop down for the turn. We go Rhythm of the Wild again. Excuse me, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we actually can't do that. So we go Rhythm of the Wild. That's going to be a lot of War Elves. And then next turn, that's going to set us up for a really, yeah, let's go +1 counter. Give it a little bit of protection. And that's one of the fun things. If you end up with a ton of Rhythm of Wilds on the battlefield, you can just get down a lot of War Elves for a 3/3 for 1 mana, and that's usually pretty good. All right, opponent's going to go for Rekindling Phoenix. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can survive. That's going to be 3, 9, and then another 7 next turn puts us down to 2. So we are looking at a risk factor next turn. Crag. So at this point right now, we can gain 7 life. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can get down Mirror March, but next turn that's going to be 4, puts us down to 6, 3. It would take 4 off of risk factor. Man, I think we go for the risky play. I kind of like that. Because even if we just get down Crispicula Worm, it doesn't really do much. Yeah, let's go Rootbound Crag. Let's go for Mirror March. And we're going to pray to the magic gods that we don't just die, and then maybe they go for risk factor, and we'll let them draw some cards. So no attacks from us, and we'll go and pass the turn. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we will have enough mana to get down Worm, and that'll still give us haste, and maybe we keep our fingers crossed we get lucky with the Mirror March to end up going for that. So kind of keeps our opponent on some sort of weird line of play to where, you know, what do they have? What are they getting down? And we will definitely take 4 damage off this one because we take 4, 6, and that's just the game. So we're going to let them draw 3 cards. Fingers crossed they don't run into something like Lightning Bolt or some other spell like that. But they're going to get down Double Island. I think I kind of like that. Okay. So that's going to be 7 coming across. It's going to put us down to 4. And then, all right. So let's go Crispicula Worm. And if you're praying to the magic gods, if you're keeping score at home, now's the time to pray to a really good Mirror March. So hopefully we can gain a ton of life. We have double, so we're going to go +1 counter, and we're going to go haste. Come on, Mirror March. Let's go. Oh. There we go. Look at that. It finally works. We're going to gain 20. All right. We're going to send the entire crew in. That's going to be, look at that. That is beautiful. We go back up to 32. That is exactly what we wanted to see. We're going to see some of these creatures blocked, but they've got trample. This is, and this is what makes this game so much fun. There's a lot of times where you get down to where you whiff, but then there's other times where you get like 3 coin flips in a row and you end up with some really good creatures. So anyway, hey, if you enjoyed it, that was fun. Sorry, I've been recording all morning and I finally, you know, I've had wins or losses, but I haven't had like a mirror match win. So I'm really excited after an hour, after a little bit of recording, I finally got an actual Mirror March win. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you in the next game. Bye. Welcome to Mirror Rage. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I love this. This is his, we don't have Mirror March in the hand. I keep wanting to call it match, but it's March. Yeah, we'll keep up. Long story short, we'll keep. Let's go. Let's get the game going. I could definitely hold our opponent up forever by just discussing our opening hand. Yeah, we'll probably get some mono red burn, but we need to out ramp our opponent. So we're going to shock this one in. Might see some spot removal from our opponent, but if we do, that's just kind of the way Magic goes sometimes. We get down Lana War Elves, and we're going to get online for Incubation Druid. And then with that Runaway Steamkin, we might end up going for Banefire for 1 on that. Yeah, I think we might have to do that. As much as I want to get down Incubation Druid, yeah, that just steamrolls the game. Haha. Let's go run away. Yeah, we're gonna 1 damage up top. That'll also be a good way for us to drop in Gruul Guildgate, enter the battlefield tapped, and then if we don't hit the land drop, we'll at least be kind of pseudo land drop with Incubation Druid. And then if not, if we do hit the land drop, then we'll end up going for Circuitous Route and going for that. And then, oh, there we go. Run into 4. So let's get down 4. Let's go for route. This is going to be the quickest way for us to just outpace our opponent. Let's grab the last Gruul Gate, and that's going to be 4. So we'll grab 1 more red source. There we go. Put those down and then kick it back over to our opponent. But yeah, this is pretty much what we want to do. You know, our playing gets mono red. You know, we are kind of surviving at this point. You know, they've got us 4 cards in hand. They've got electrostatic field. The important thing right now is we need to be pretty aggressive with those electric static fields. Every time they cast an instant or sorcery, that's just going to really amplify that damage, which is not what we want to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 total mana. So at this point right now, we can go Burning Sun's Avatar, but that's not going to deal with anything. I kind of want to hold on to Burning Sun's Avatar just to maybe try to keep them in check. I mean, we could get that down. Carnage Tyrant would definitely be a good option for us to go for. I'm kind of tempted to go for Incubation Druid and then Rhythm of the Wild. It's going to make it a 0-3. That kind of leaves it's a little bit of a... But that hasty option... Yeah, I know. We're going to throw that nice to our opponent. Let's go Rhythm of the Wild. And then let's go... Yeah, of course it's a burn player that's going to be like, your go. You get down Incubation Druid, and we're going to have it enter the battlefield with a +1 counter. And then no attacks. We're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, so once we get this down, we could have gone for Burning Sun's Avatar, but you know, if we can rip into a Mirror March, that's really going to allow us to kind of deal with some of these creatures on the board state. And then Lava Coil. Okay, that's not a direct damage spell up top. So at least next turn, we are looking at Burning Sun Avatar for 3 damage to Lava Runner. And that'll at least kind of stop that one and allow us to swing in for a pretty good chunk of damage. So you know what? Let's go ahead and go for that. Let's go Burning Sun's Avatar. Have that enter the battlefield. I want to have it enter with haste on this one. 3 damage to that Lava Runner. And then let's go and swing in with that... Yeah, we're going to get out a lot of War Elves too. Have the inner battlefield with an extra +1 counter on it. That way we can at least kind of trade with some Lava Runners if they rip into a few more Lava Runners. And we're swinging in with the Burning Sun's Avatar. So if they want to trade with Electrostatic Field, they certainly can. And then we get in for 6. And then next turn we are looking at Carnage Tyrant to... put us getting down Jaya. Okay, so let's see. Let's check out Jay. So +1, add triple red to your mana pool. +1, discard 3 cards and draw that many cards. And then risk factor, we are 100% taking 4 damage on this one. 100%. Yeah, we want to take some damage on that. And we draw to Vivian Reed. Okay, so Vivian Reed, we can get this down, but we can't really stabilize with that. So I kind of like going Carnage Tyrant. So we go Carnage Tyrant. We're going to have this enter the battlefield with haste. And then I think we just send the entire crew in. So we've got Burning... If we end up sending Carnage Tyrant in... at Jaya, we definitely want to deal with her. Actually, if we end up going... Yeah, I think we can make this work. We go up top, because even if we take care of Jaya, they've got risk factor next turn with double Electrostatic Field. So that's going to take care of it. So we're going to swing in at our opponent. It's going to force Alana War Elves, and we're going to send in 4 attackers up top. If we end up dealing with Jaya, that could maybe work, but at least at this point, we're going to at least see some of these Electrostatic Fields. That way, we're not just completely dead to just a risk factor, because if they end up... leaving these 2 on the battlefield, that's going to be risk factor, discarding the card they draw for the turn, and that's going to be 2 damage from both of these fields. So at least we're going to have to see some sort of block from our opponent, at least get rid of some of these. Alright, that's going to put them all the way down to 1, and then anything else. Yeah, we can actually still end up taking 4 damage off this one. That's going to be 4, puts us down to 5, puts us down to 2, and then we take 1 damage off the Electrostatic Field. And I think either way, we're going to get it on this one, because I think that's going to put our opponent and kind of back them up into a corner to where we can swing in on the back end with some really good damage. So let's see how they decide to play this turn out. Okay, so they're going to go for the +1 off Jaya, discard up to 3 cards. So they're going to have to discard 1 card and then draw 1 more card. But like I mentioned, with this trample, I think we're going to get it. But let's see. So they go for risk factor. And we're going to take the 4 damage. It's going to put us down to 1. And they have no cards left in the hand. And just for fun, we're going to burn our opponent out. Oh. This is going to feel good. We're going to go 6 up top to our opponent. And then why not? Let's just go and cast a Vivian Reed on the back end. Just to There we go. We outburned the burn opponent. Yes, indeed. Okay. So that wasn't a lot of... There's just something about burning a burn opponent out that feels so good. But yeah, so we didn't get a lot of mirror march action going, but this is pretty much what the deck wants to do. You know, get down Rhythm of the Wild, go for a nice Electro Dominance. That is one of the other win conditions for the deck, and we can stabilize against burn and be aggressive against them, which is always a lot of fun. But anyway, I'll see you in the next game. Welcome to Mirror Rage. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I love this. This is a great opening hand. We're going to keep on this one. We've got a turn 1 Lana War Elves. We have an Incubation Druid. We have a Route. And we have Mirror March, which is just everything that we want to see in an opening hand. Let's lead off with Forest. We go Lana War Elves, and then we'll kick the turn back over to our opponent. So it looks like we're playing against Mono Red Burn. I would assume if they get down the Spew Spear and the Electrostatic Field. All right, so this is going to be... we got our work cut out for us with them dealing this damage. So hopefully we can outramp our opponent as quickly as possible. So let's go Incubation Druid. That's going to be 2 mana. That's going to put us at 4 for next turn. And I think we just go Gruul Guildgate. Actually, let's do it like this. We end up going... Yeah, because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be route for next turn. Yeah, let's do this. So we get down, go Gruul Guildgate. That way it comes into play tap. We'll be online for route. We can get down Mirror March and then hopefully get really lucky with the Burning Sun's Avatar. This deck is... I don't know, man. This is fun. It's kind of like Red-Green Tron for Standard, but kind of not really, if that makes sense. I don't know. Let's go Circuitous Route. We're going to get a few more lands on the battlefield. We are only running 2 Guild Gates in here, so once we run into 2, basically we just got 2 in here for route and whatever sort of fun stuff we can kind of get going. Let's grab Mountain, and I think at this point, this is going to be... Yeah, we have tons of dual sources in the hand, and, man, do we want to take a... hit to get down Lana War Elves? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Man, is that what we want to do? I think we need to play this one safe. We're looking at Mirror March for next turn. Yeah, let's just get... we'll get Gruul Gate into play tapped, and then we'll just pass the turn. We could have gone for Stomping Ground, Shocking, and Lana War Elves, but once you get down Spear Spewer, once our opponent gets down the Electrostatic Fields, if they get down Gutter Snipe, that's especially going to be hard. So we really want to try to protect our life total as much as possible on this one. Especially, yep, see, there we go. Get down Gutter Snipe. And so basically now, whenever they cast just any instant or sorcery spell, that's going to be like 4 damage, and that's going to be really, really hard for us to combat. So we go for Mirror March. I like that. Get down Mirror March. We get down Forest. And then we get down Lana War Elves. And then anything else. Alright, so we got our bad coin flips out of the way for Lana War Elves. So then anything else will... no attacks from us, and we'll go and pass the turn. Now, one of the fun things about this deck is you can see, that is a bummer. When we got 0 coin flips. So there's other times you get 4 or 5 in a row. Now, if we can end up with a ton of Burning Sun Avatar triggers, worst case scenario, we're at least going to be able to stop Gutter Snipe, and that's the important thing. Because once they really start casting these instant sorceries, we need to find some sort of way to deal with these Spear Spewers and these Gutter Snipes. And this is a... Man, this is a wonderful board state for us to cast a open Burning Sun's Avatar into. All right, so we've got a Gutter Snipe just going into the red zone. I like this. Opponent's a little tight on instant sorcery, so they're going to deal that damage to us. And then we run into a Gift of Paradise. Okay, so at this point right now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9 mana, so we can actually go just straight up just Gift of Paradise, if that's correct. Yeah. So we're going to Gift of Paradise on this Forest right here, which we did not tap. That's going to allow us to gain 3 life, kind of negate some of these Gutter Snipes, and then gain 3 life. That's definitely going to be a way for us to kind of hopefully stabilize against this match. Let's go for Burning Sun Avatar. Yeah, let's see if this is going to go. I like it. All right, if you're praying to the magic gods right now, pray that we get some good coin flips, because we need to take care of some of these Gutter Snipes and these Spear Spewers. And it always feels like, come on, coin flips. We definitely want to deal with Gutter Snipe first. That is going to be the priority creature off this first Burning Sun's Avatar. And so the way this works is we get down 3 damage to Gutter Snipe. All right, so they're going to go for Shock. I'm going to break the seal on some of these spells. You can see how important we didn't not shocking in that Stomping Ground made a big difference. Look at that. All right, so that's finally getting some of the cracks off these. Look at that. We're all the way down to 5. And come on, coin flips, let's go. Oh, bummer. Okay, so we get down Stomping Ground, have that enter the battlefield tapped, and then no attacks will go and pass the turn to our opponent. So unfortunately, sometimes that does happen. That is the downside to the deck. But we did at least get to stop them. Oh, it's going to put us down to 4. Oh, no. And if they've got just 1 burn spell, they've got it. Oh, Lightning Strike. Good game. That was a well-played game by our opponent. You can see just getting down a ton of these Electrostatics. If we had that coin flip just go our other way, and we got a little bit more lucky, we'd end up a few more creatures on the battlefield. But that deck played out exactly like we wanted it to do. We are playing against a mono-red deck, which is going to be one of the harder decks for this deck to play against. And you can see we put ourselves in a position to where we could close it out. But, when you get down double Electrostatic Fields, you get down a Gutter Snipe, and you get hit with Spew Spears, there's... pretty much no matter what deck you're playing, unless it's a board wipe deck, there's no way to really combat that. So, anyways, See you in the next game. Welcome to Mirror Rage. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I like this. We're going to keep on this. So pretty much everything you want to see in opening hand. Only thing that would make this better is if we had Mirror March in our opening hand, but this is exactly what we want. We got a turn 1 ramp, we've got a turn 2 ramp with Gift of Paradise, we got Rhythm of the Wild, we've got 2 wonderful creatures that have some nice enter the battlefield effects, so hopefully we can find a Mirror March pretty quick and really take advantage of these creatures. And it looks like we're playing against maybe Simic Ramp or something like that did get a quick lane on the battlefield. So we end up going Forest and then Gift of Paradise off that forest. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Argument could be made for getting down Rhythm of the Wild if we're playing against a blue-based deck to kind of jam this in really quick to make sure that our spells can't be countered, but we'll try to find an open window here a little bit later on to get it down, because we definitely want to get this Gift of Paradise to stick. Just basically turning one of your lands into an Ancient Tomb is a really good way to, or playing against a Merfolk. Okay, so that's what it is. I was worried about it was going to be some sort of Nexus. Well, actually, it's banned in best of one, so we wouldn't see that. But you never know what you're going to see. So we are playing against a blue-based deck. They are tapped out. We do have to watch out for Essence Capture. They can counter target creature spell. So I think at this point, I like getting down Rhythm of the Wild. Let's go Rhythm of the Wild. Let's get that down. Let's give ourselves a lot of War Elves. And we're going to have that enter the battlefield with a +1 counter on it. And then let's go Stomping Ground into play tap. That way we're not taking any damage and kick it back over to our opponent. So we've got Siege Gang Commander. We've got Demanding Dragon. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 total mana. So if we run into that Mirror March, hopefully, fingers crossed, we top deck it. We get that down, and then we'll end up some really nice turns once we get down Demanding Dragon, Siege Gang Commander, and different things like that. But it looks like our opponent's off to a... something's kind of fishy on our opponent's side of the board. That is, there's a lot of fish over there. That is not good. That's going to put us down to 16 and draw the Stomping Ground, which is, we can still get some creatures down with Siege Gang Commander. Now, if we end up getting down Siege Gang Commander, that's going to allow us to start picking off some of these Merfolk, especially some of these Merfolk Lords. Yeah, I think that's probably our best bet to go for. So let's go Siege Gang Commander. Get that down, get some Gerblins, and we can, yeah, we're definitely going to go ahead and, yeah, enter the battlefield with a +1 counter. That way we can at least kind of stop some of these. Let's shock in a Stomping Ground. We're going to pay 2 life on this one because we have access to that red-green mana. And we could... Actually, yeah, let's pass the turn. So we're going to pass the turn. What's going to end up happening is that hopefully we can kind of stabilize at this point, and we can declare one of these goblins a blocker and one of these merfolk, and then use that as some... Ooh, okay, so we definitely need to take care of this yes, we're going to use that ability. We're going to direct that damage over there and get rid of this last Gerblin. Okay, the play that we were going for was declaring that goblin we sacrifice as a blocker, and that would have allowed us to sacrifice it and kind of dodge a little bit of damage. But since they were getting down another Mistbinder, we had to end up going for that line of play. Okay, so that's going to be 8. That's going to be 11 coming across, which puts us down to 3, which is very risky. But we untap next turn with some pretty good damage. So I think at this point, we're just simply going to have to take it and go for this Merfolk Mistbinder. Sorry, I'm just like making up words over here. We go for that Merfolk Mistbinder and go for the activation. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got just enough to go Burning Sun Avatar, and I think we end up going Siege Gang Commander on Merfolk, and that's going to drop that down to a 3/4. And we need to take care of this River Sneaky Snake, because that would definitely be our undoing for next turn. And we can just chump block on Jade Light Ranger. Yeah, I think that's good. So we go Siege Gang Commander on Merfolk Mistbinder. And then we sacrifice a Goblin. Thank you, Goblin, for your service. Always want to thank them. And then we go for... Oh, excuse me, Burning Sun's Avatar. I got ahead on mana. That was, I miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh, it tapped down double... Okay. Alright, so we get down Demanding Dragon. Have it enter the battlefield with a +1 counter. Sorry, but when you do auto taps, you've got to be really cautious, because most of the time it does kind of factor in some of that stuff. No attacks from us. Yeah, because we need to just kind of hold back on this one. And then next turn we'll be able to go for Burning Sun's Avatar. Sorry about that. So what ends up happening on the auto tapper for Magic, 99% of the time, 9 out of 10 times, it's always going to tap down. Oh, well, either way, even if we done it right, they still had sleep, so that's a bummer. Yeah, either way, they would have been in for Jade Light Ranger with that sleep. So good game to our opponent. We could have gotten out of Burning Sun's Avatar, but they're going to get it on this one. Anyway, see you in the next game. Welcome to Mirror Rage. Hope you're excited to get a ton of creatures on the battlefield. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, I like this. We'll keep on. We don't have Mirror March in the hand, but we can definitely end up with a turn 1 Lana War Elves, and that always feels really good. So we'll get that down, and then we'll go and pass the turn, and then get down Rhythm of the Wild. Sorry, my cat was messing with something behind me, and I went down to say, hey, the mic is hot. Let's be a team player on this one. So she ran off. We get down Rhythm of the Wild, and that'll allow us to, it looks like we're playing against some sort of, at least at this point right now, a Boros deck. So if we're playing against some sort of counterspell deck, Rhythm of the Wild definitely helps us dodge some of those counter spells. But with Rhythm of the Wild, it also, gets aggro decks and really helps us kind of outpace them. We can get that extra +1 counter, or just simply just have it enter the battlefield with haste, which is definitely what we want to do. So we get down Forest. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't want to swing into that. And then we'll just go and pass the turn back over to our opponent. But yeah, this deck is a ton of fun to play. I love having it. There's just a lot of this is a coin flip deck, 100%. You're trying to get lucky with the Mirror March, getting down something like Burning Sun Avatar, but it just ends up being just really fun because it turns your top decks into just like if you just hit like 3 or 4 Burning Sun Avatars off a coin flip, oh, that's some good magic right there. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 mana, so it's about to be turn 5 for us, and we're about to get down a Carnage Tyrant or a Burning Sun Avatar, and that is some good magic right there. Now, the other thing about this deck is this is just basically a straight-up just ramp deck. If we don't hit Mirror March, Mirror March definitely helps us end up with some really explosive games. But there's just some times where we just ramp into a really nice board state. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8. So unfortunately, we can't go double. But I think at this point, we go Burning Sun's Avatar, 3 damage up top. We take care of Incubation. Yeah, I kind of like taking care of Incubation Druid. All right, so we go Burning Sun's Avatar. We're going to have this enter the battlefield with haste because we want to start attacking. We're going to deal 3 damage to Incubation Druid. Oh, yeah, look at that. We're going to go and swing in with Burning Sun's Avatar with haste thanks to Rhythm of the Wild. And Relentless Raptor attacks or block each combat if able. So we're at least going to see the Relentless Raptor block on the Burning Sun's Avatar. And then we can follow it up with the Carnage Tyrant. But yeah, with the Mirror March, sometimes you don't get lucky. There's a lot of times where we cast a Burning Sun's Avatar and you hit no coin flips, and that does feel bad. Not going to lie. But that's what makes this deck fun, is that there's other times where you end up with like 4 of them on the battlefield, then you have haste, you have Rhythm of the Wild, and you just close the game out from just left field or from downtown, and your opponent is just left sitting there like, what just happened? So that's the fun thing about the deck, is that there's a really fun random element that's kind of tacked on as your win condition. We can really get down Carnage Tyrant and Burning Sun's Avatar and really put some pressure on our opponent, but that's what really kind of makes it the I hate saying it, like, I guess the wow factor, whatever you're gonna call that random element, but it's a lot of. This is the deck that typically, if I'm not testing for something, I just get it down just to see what kind of fun we can have. And honestly, double Rhythm of the Wild. Ooh, Electro Dominance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Yeah, we've got just enough to go for Electro Dominance, and then yeah, okay, check this out. And this is another fun interaction with the deck. So we go Electro Dominance. We're going to go, X is going to be 6, because that's going to be 5. Yeah. So we go X is going to be 6. Oh. We're going to target our opponent, and we're going to deal that damage. We're going to cast Carnage Tyrant, and it's going to enter the battlefield with Rhythm of the Wild, which is just, whoa. Yes, we have it enter the battlefield with an extra counter, so... Let's see, this is the kind of, oh man, I meant to have it into the battlefield with haste. Sorry about that. Anyway, we're going to swing in with Burning Sun's Avatar. I meant to click the haste option, because that would have really allowed us to deal a pretty good chunk of damage. So, but unfortunately, at least next turn we could swing in next turn and go for that. But you could see where, just tapping out for Electro Dominance, hitting 6 damage, and then just adding insult to injury of going with a Carnage Tyrant on the back end. And, oh, feels good. All right, so opponent's going to tap out for a Knight of the Stampede, and let's go and push in with the entire crew. Yeah, swinging with Carnage Tyrant, swinging with Burning Sun's Avatar. Yeah, if we had gone for the the haste instead of the other one, then it's sort of been a little bit of a different game. But unfortunately, mistakes happen in Magic. That's what makes Magic magic. So we're going to get down Rhythm of the Wild, and then we're going to pass the turn back over to our opponent. So they need to get down something to stop Carnage Tyrant. It's going to have Trample, and if we top deck some sort of creature, we've got Rhythm of the Wild to give it haste. And so we're just kind of in this particular board state to where, okay, I got the Goblin down, but that's going to be 8. But I think either way, if we swing it with the entire crew, we've got... All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on this one, so they just cast their spells and then kick it back over to us. So you can see where, unfortunately, we didn't get out Mirror March, but this is exactly what the deck wants to do. It wants to ramp. We can get in for an Electro Dominance to just drop in a casual Carnage Tyrant to your opponent. Hey, check this out, as we deal 8 damage to you. But anyway, I'll see you in the next game.